Thank you. And today we are session 6. Wow, it's fantastic. And I can also see that the COP is growing on the LinkedIn. So, and thank you to Carlos for uploading these on YouTube and then providing the links. So I know a lot of our colleagues and community cannot be here live, but I do know that a lot of them do come in afterwards. So these are still important for us to document. So let's proceed. At the moment, we are joined by Linh Dang Thi Khanh on from Save the Children. And Lynn, today you will be talking about child-centered road safety interventions. Is that right?
Yes, correct.
Excellent. So without further ado, I'll throw the floor to you and listen intently to your presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunny, for the introduction and Carlos for being here. Hi, Salome and Sabrina as well. Let me share my screen.
Excellent. Great. We can see it. Well, Lynn just dropped off and coming back in. I think you pressed the wrong button, Lynn.
I think so.
we were able to see your presentation before, but yes, please share your screen again.
Yes. Can you see my screen now?
I can, yes,
Yeah.
great.
Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. So today I'm very happy to be on behalf of Save the Children to present about child-centered road safety interventions in Vietnam. Let me start with the problem statement first. As you know, that road crashes are recognized as the leading cause of death for children and young adults from 5 to 29 years of age, and we have almost 200,000 children die from traffic crashes annually. So basically, that every 4 minutes we have one child pass away, and it is very unfortunate. More than 90% of child road deaths occur in low and middle income countries. And it is estimated that by 2030, road traffic injuries among both children and adults are projected to surpass HIV/AIDS, malaria, and tuberculosis as a cause of death worldwide. In Vietnam, this figure is that up to 2,000 children die per year due to traffic crashes, accounting for 25% of child injury mortalities across the country. And in Vietnam, we have been facing or we have observed some limitation. First of all, some key limitations. First of all, is the limited and lack of coordination and collaboration amongst stakeholders in child road safety. And the second one, also the second important element is inefficient road safety training methods in school, which are mainly theory-based, passive learning, and less practical. That's why we propose, that's the reason we propose our interventions with the approaches, as you can see from the screen here, that the children is the center of our interventions, and we have various stakeholders working towards child road safety to support children on their journeys. First of all, we can say that I want to list out some key stakeholders, such as Traffic Safety Committee, Department of Education and Training, Police, Department of Construction, local authorities, community task force, teachers, parents, private partners, as well as the children, because they can be peers, influencers to other students. So basically, that our project was to bring all this stakeholder plus many more all together. So it's like the first time they come onto the same desk to discuss on child safety. And we focus on the four elements: the infrastructure modifications, enforcement, education in school, as well as media and outreach. Those are four key elements of our child-centered road safety interventions to drive our designing and planning and implementation as well. Today I want to discuss about the infrastructure modification and enforcement, but I will focus more on education part and the media and outreach as a place. So based on the findings from research, several researches that students with high level of conducting risky behaviors, why they have low knowledge of traffic rules. So those are the key elements lead them to have more likely to suffer injuries from road crashes. Therefore, road safety education to establish children perception, attitudes, behaviors to become responsible road users. It's not only for today, but it's also for the next 5, 10, or even 15 years to become responsible road users. And road safety education should start at young age from 4 or 5 years old, and it will should continue through primary and secondary school. And also, road safety education should involve children in realistic situation through experiential tools, but still keeping them away from dangerous road scenarios. That's why from our education part, because we have identified the limitation from the current education structure system, and also we based on this research, we develop our education activities to become more practical, participatory, and also experiential. So it starts with only 42 actually 42 teachers in 14 schools with the training of core trainers as a first step, and then from this core trainers, they provide the training for teachers. And from 42 the core teachers, they train more than 600 teachers and school staff in on other 14 schools, in their 14 schools. So after the training on the teachers, provide the training for the students through extracurricular classes for students. So by the end of the project, we conducted this from 2020, and so far through the most of the time through the COVID-19 pandemic, but we still successfully provided more than 2,000 extracurricular sessions to reach more than 14,000 students in all our 14 project school, and each student was trained in about 5 or 6 topics during the through the duration. So the 5 topics including walking safely, crossing safely, helmet wearing, safety on motorcycle, e-motorcycle, e-bicycle, cyclist safety, uh, uh, safety on the cars and public transport as well, and also recognition of traffic signboards. Yep. So those are the 6 topics that we are covered. We provided to our students in our 14th school from 2020 until now. And as you can see here, there are several pictures of the trainings. It started this one for the 4 pictures were the pictures from the POT training. The first training for 42 teachers. It was conducted by the consultants from People's Police Academy. They are the leading organization in providing training on road safety in Vietnam. And also this model, this type of training is can be considered as the first time in Vietnam to have such kind of intensive training and practical training. And here after such training, here are some pictures of other training conducted by the master trainer after being trained in the TOT training. They carry out the training in own protein school, as well as recently we provided the expanded training for the DOE, I mean Department of Education and Training members, leadership member, and core teachers of all the remaining 10 districts in Linh Dang province. So those you can see that they is very interactive, and the teachers had opportunity to practice the exercise as well on on the site. Here are some pictures that they learned about the traffic signboards. They learned about walking safely, crossing safely, riding a bicycle, and be safe on motorcycles. And as I already mentioned that through the duration on of our project students who were trained on road safety with 5 or 6 lessons per class per student, and among more than 2,000 extracurricular sessions provided through the duration, we conducted around 800 face-to-face lessons only, but besides that, we provided more than 1,500 distance sessions because it was during the lockdown because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and it was a huge effort made by our teachers and local stakeholders during this period. As you can see that here are some pictures that the students were involved in the practical exercise, and it was more fun for them as well. In our project interventions, we also provided with the drawings. As you can see that the maps on the road is the road map to stimulate the environment of road environment in the school, so that the students can interact with the environment. And also you can see the pole one is the traffic lights made by our teachers. They were very creative to produce a kind of to make this kind of traffic lights, and actually it's connected to electricity as well. so that it can turn red or green or yellow. As you can see here, that they learned about wearing helmet, traffic signboards, as well as riding a bicycle safely. And here are some pictures from the online sessions during the COVID lockdown. That even though that time was very, I mean, it was very tough for us during the lockdown and very stressful, but the teachers successfully provided more than 1,500 sessions on road safety to all students. It was from October until January, October of 2021 until January and February of 2022. And during this online session, because even with the limitations of online teaching, but the teachers were able to mobilize some digital platforms to create environment for interactive and participatory learning from students, as doing quizzes. And also we ask the student, for example, like whenever possible, we ask them to prepare the materials for their practice as well. As you can see in the pictures, that the student, even though they learn road safety online and at their home, but they still wear helmets to demonstrate the lessons about wearing helmet. And as I mentioned, that at the end of our project, we were successfully expanding this intervention into one 168 primary school in Tiên Giang province. That is a commitment from our local partners when we conducted this. And in the training, the Department of Education and Training in Tiên Giang, they attended, and they saw they felt the training was very practical, helpful, useful, and interactive, and they wanted to have this apply in all more than almost 200 primary school in Tiên Giang province. And as we can see, that besides of the training, we also created the bulletins, or several bulletins to support the training and raising awareness and skill for the teachers, for the student, both for students and parents. And here are some here are some a screenshot of the bulletins. These bulletins are available in English, but when we made this video, we just made it with the Vietnamese versions. And if you find it interesting, I can share it with you the bulletins in English. It has also six topics on walking safely, riding a bicycle safely, traffic license signs, safety on motorcycles, e-motorcycles, e-bicycle, a seat belt, speed reduction, as well as a child restraint and safety on cars. And to produce it, this type of materials, we involve several stakeholders, including the volunteers, local police, teachers, our staff, as well as students, to provide inputs into the material development. And in this slide, you can see that these are our indicators for the project to measure our achievement. And I instructed 3 indicators regarding students, like the percentage of students with good general road safety knowledge, percentage of students with good helmet wearing behaviors, and percentage of students increase wearing helmets during their last journey to and from school. And the and there is data for the pre-CAP recorded during the pre-CAP survey and post-CAP survey in 2022. And all of the for all these 3 indicators, there is an increase. For example, like the first one, we targeted only 10% increase of 10%, but actually we achieved more than 25% increase. And also the second indicators with good helmet wearing behaviors, that we targeted only an increase of 5%, but actually we achieve more than 30% increase. And from this one, when we conducted the survey and we asked the students on their feelings of the training, they said that they share that the training was very has a lot of fun, and they really enjoy it. And after the sessions, they know and they can identify risky behaviors. For example, like before they didn't know that their brothers were driving recklessly, but now after attending the training, he saw that that was a risky behavior, and he wouldn't do it again. And another one, on the child center road safety interventions, we carry out child-led advocacy. It means that the children were involved in the process of making photo of taking photos of road unroad safety unsafe road user behaviors, and as well as poor road conditions, so that it can be presented and shared with local stakeholders for their improvement and for their work plan. We started this one with 20 students, and we provided the training for 20 students plus 20 parents. And also we mobilized because of several reasons. We couldn't buy cameras and give cameras for all 20 students. That's why we came up with an idea of mobilizing parents' mobile phones for our photo voice activities. And in the training, we provided the session on photographing skills. and we discuss with them on unsafe elements as well as safe elements, and we facilitated the session to for them to map out their journey to school and identify the safe and unsafe spot on their journey. And also we provided a brief introduction and a requirement on safety and security and safeguarding because it is very critical to ensure that the students and the parents are safe when they take photos during their journey to school. Um, so this one was very important and was significantly highlighted during our training and our sessions for the student and parents. And we receive a lot of support from the parents to do this photo voice activities. And here you can see some of the photos taken during our training for the teacher for the students together with their parents. That we introduce them about our activities, and also as you can see that the left side on the bottom of the bottom picture in on the left is the one that the student um, um, proactively identify safe and unsafe road conditions during their journey to school, together with their parents here with the picture beside. And here are some picture that took that were taken by our students. For example, like the first one on the left, that they identify that it was unorganized traffic conditions, um, and also the signboards was covered by leaves, and it cannot be well recognized by road users, um, as well as poor infrastructure, poor road system, unsafe behavior from road safeties or from road users, including parents and students as well, that they didn't wear helmets when they were on bicycle or on motorcycles. And also they promoted some safe and good behavior as well. For example, like the the last one on the right, um, at the bottom, was the one that in front of a school, that the parents were very well organized in parking their vehicles before in front of the school gate. So it was to facilitate the pick up and drop off activities. Yes, and on these pictures were presented, were shared with local stakeholders, including the Traffic Safety Committee, police, Department of Education and Training, Department of Transportation, and so on. So that they express their wishes as well as presented this current situation, and the local government made their commitment during the event that they will tackle the problem identified by the student. And it was also good that after this series of activities, our DO, our Department of Education and Training partners, they they would like to expand it and replicate it, apply this model in the next school years, so that it encourages students to raise their voice on this particular problem. So this is the end of my presentation. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Lynn. A virtual applause to you. That's very insightful. Thank you very much. I certainly enjoyed that. I really like the colorful and rich pictures that gives a bit more depth, as they say. A picture paints a thousand words. So fantastic. Thank you. If you, while I remember, if you can kindly share this presentation in the grantee shared Dropbox, that would be so great. I mean, I'd love to showcase some of these pictures as well internally here at GRSP.
Yeah,
Um,
thank you, Sunny. I will share it.
Thank you so much. I'll put a folder in there under open folder, which is so just for presentations. That'd be great. This is so rich, and it's been great to see also the journey of Save the Children working with us on this program since 2018. So it's been 5 years. So of course a lot has been done, and we've all learned a lot. So it's fantastic, and that's a credit also to you, of course, and Raul and Kim and everyone. So thank you for that and sharing that along. So we'll now open it for questions and discussions. I can see Carlos, you have your hands up. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yes, thanks. And this was a great presentation to hear. I I I was looking at all this, and then I think it's great that the children and youth are not only learning about what they have to do to be safe, and even the advocacy I found was great. And then I started thinking, how is this complemented by the government work in telling the other stakeholders in the road? So does the government, for example, do strong sort of direct work with people who are riding motorbikes or cars to be careful around children? I mean, I'm sort of thinking, how is your work being enhanced and complemented by the work from others? So any indication of that would be great to hear.
Yes. So, because of the prolonged lockdown during the COVID-19 pandemic, it was unfortunate for us to not carry out these activities earlier, but rather later, like recently in May and June. That's why we couldn't have strong evidence on what the government really did on this one. But we already, as I already shared, that we presented this in our events, and in that events, the local stakeholder, for example, the People's Committee from one location, they said that they will conduct their site visit and to identify the unsafe road conditions as well as the signage. For example, like if the side spots are covered by leaves, they will trim it so that it will be more visible for road users, and also the DOE, I mean Department of Transportation, they said that from these pictures they could know where to work on in their next plan of action. For example, like the road conditions here is very poor, and they said that they will integrate this one as one of the items in their annual work plan, as well as the local police, that when looking at the photos of parents and students who were not wearing helmets when they were on motorcycles, the local police share that they would strengthen their enforcement on helmet wearing. So those are the commitment or sharings by our local stakeholders when we share these activities, these products. I hope it answered the question.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks a lot. Atani, I think
You're
you're in
welcome.
mute.
I am in mute. My apologies. I was singing a song. No, it is always difficult to get visibility of what the government, even at a municipality level, to know what they're doing and to align your program activities according to them. I think, Carlos, that's what you're trying to get at. And sometimes it's in lieu of that, or so sort of they don't really have a plan, right? So you sort of do these activities and sort of give them suggestions of what they can do. So it's sometimes depending on sort of like the complexity and robustness of the municipality, you might not be able to align some of your activities. But yeah, I mean, this is all a journey for a lot of them to also learn from NGOs like yourself. So that's interesting. Lynn, for me, if you can just give a bit more insight into your experience with Photo Voice. We've done this with a few of our projects, not all of them. It was really up to the lead and also with the project manager like yourself to take it on or not. And I hope you've seen some benefits out of that. The one that I can compare to, we did one, Carlos, in Mexico, in fact, in Colima, and we did it another way around as well. This is back with Marionette, where they had the students, of course, take photos, but then also had a journal, and they sort of drew or wrote things that they thought was interesting, and that was really cool to see that as well. And then another one, we also had a couple opportunity where we took sort of like snippets or short interviews with the children themselves, and they said a few things, which again, I pre and post, which was also very cute, but then also very insightful. Some of the things are taken on board, and some things we didn't even know as sort of like road safety auditors. Did you consider some of those other things, and how did you find your process now that is completed?
Um, yeah, let me tell you the story because the photo voice was, as I remember, that it was firstly require that the photo voice when focus on the project interventions only on the engineering modifications, and we did it in one of our school, and then we found the photo voice activity were very helpful and useful to raise the voice of the children for the improved road safety. So we expanded it in three other schools with mobilized mobile phones by of the parents.
See.
And yeah, and for that, I think that it was great in also building the confidence for the students, as well as encouraging and involving or for example, or like we showcase to our Department of Education and Training, because we will they discuss with us that they will share this kind of pictures in their school, in the school, so that it will encourage other students to capture the unsafe or safe elements from in terms of road safety, so that they can present it to Department of Education and Training, and also they can share that from Department of Education and Training. They can take those capture and share with the Department of Transportation and Traffic Safety Committee, for example, so that all together we tackle on the issues raised by the student. Of course, it was not. I don't think that we can say that 100% of all the problems raised by the student will be tackled on immediately, but it should be on a long-term plan from the government. And of course, for this one, of course our student has their journal as well, that they noted down Is something like the caption for the pictures, where and when they took the pictures and what they wanted to describe or to express from the photos they took. And we do have that kind of genre, but we didn't have the our because of the prolonged lockdown. Our student did not have any chance to do interviews with other students on other unsafe road conditions or behaviors. But I think that it is a really good one, a good idea to encourage or to involve a student as some sort of like the mini of journalists or reporters.
Yeah, and I think that would be interesting. Maybe for next time. I think Botnar really liked some of the clips that we did previously as well. So that's something to be considered downstream for this project or even others. Any other questions from the floor? Thoughts? Takeaways? If not, we can certainly end early. That was certainly useful. I would love to speak a little bit more to you, Lynn, and also Sabrina, if you're around. That would be great. Just have a quick catch up after this, immediately after this call with the remaining time we have. But if there's no other questions, I will close the session and stop recording.
Thank you very much for for being here today.